When you absolutely, positively don't want to hear any more bull, listen to American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. American Liberty Radio Network. Hey, folks, how you doing? There we go. Have to turn down some music there. Oh my God, folks. What the hell is going on today on the 26th of July, 2017? I mean, here, President Trump is putting out tweets and stuff like that. And, well, it's interesting to see that the far-left liberal Goonie birds are freaking, losing their damn mind over this. It's just, God. I just like, I like watching liberals implode upon themselves. What about you, folks? I love it. I think that, oh my God. It's amazing. It just really is amazing. Now, President Trump tweeted today. He said in a tweet, after consultation with generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military, it says our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you. Now, that's a meme that's on my personal page. I'll share that right now on American Liberty Radio Podcast. But I totally agree with him. What? Yeah, I don't care if it's transgender issue or any other issue. We need a military that's focused on victory. I don't really give a crap what the problem is or what the situation is or what the issue is. Our military has to be well-trained, well-focused, and determined to protect this country and our allies. And somebody here in the comment section said, I disagree because anyone should be allowed to serve in the military. It's the most patriotic thing that one can do for their country. However, those individuals need to adhere to military guidelines, and to change those guidelines would slow down the military. Sorry. And then somebody responded to that saying the military is not an equal opportunity employer. The military denies service to lots of people for lots of reasons that might affect their ability to serve in combat. So there's a whole plethora of comments to that. I'm gonna lay it out here, okay? I don't really give one rip about the transgender issue. I really, really don't. Because I see it as, one, a personal issue that has been politicized to create division. Okay? It's that's what it is. Anything can be politicized. Anything can be put into the political arena and used as a tool to divide people. I don't care what it is. Minimum wage issues, transgender issues. You can fill in the blanks. This is why I believe that we need to rid this country of political parties. They're not there to serve the purpose of we the people. They're there totally created to divide we the people. So get rid of political parties. You get rid of political parties, you'll have a better opportunity to sustain this country per state, per region, in a more neighborly fashion, if you will. You know. So I'm totally against political parties. And this is one of the reasons why, as soon as I get past all the freaking ads on the website, from townhall.com, revealed whopping 73% of CBO's quote-unquote lost coverage estimate comes from individual mandate repeal. Conservative healthcare policy, let's see here, let me read this, it's weird. Conservative healthcare policy wonk Afik Roy, a supporter of the imperiled Senate healthcare bill, wrote an eye-opening analysis over the weekend. He examined and applied leaked data in order to demonstrate how the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office would score any GOP Obamacare replacement bill as, quote-unquote, denying coverage to at least 16 million Americans. That's due to CBO's fanatical belief in the power of the existing laws in individual mandate tax, an article of faith to which they've clung despite hard contradictory evidence. For the first time, Roy is able to reveal exactly how heavily and dubiously CBO leans on the strength the individual mandate is producing its coverage numbers. This is vitally important context for the current healthcare debate, both in terms of swatting down Democrats' favored attack line, as well as addressing, as moderate Republicans' top hesitancy. He begins by noting the bizarre stability of congressional bookkeepers' quote-unquote lost coverage figures, no matter how vastly various Republican-backed repeal and replace measures may differ. And this is from townhall.com. That is on the American Liberty Radio podcast Facebook page. Excuse me. I really have tossed around the idea that if I can type here, I've tossed around the idea for several weeks, several hours, just kind of, tossing around the idea of the fact that we are living in a complete bizarro world, okay? We live in a complete bizarro world, okay? Now, why do I say that? Well, there's reasons for that. I mean, you look at the current makeup of the political arena of America. Look at the various aspects that people have of politics in this country. You look at the various areas of political ideologies and all of that, and you see how these quote unquote politicians wrangle for top positions in their committees, and you look at all of this competition that's going on. But there's something I've realized this many years ago, but there's something I've verified, solidified in my thoughts, and that is it's all one party. It's a progressive globalist party that is, trying to really undermine and overthrow President Trump. I mean, that's what it is. There's no question about it. It is what it is. It's a progressive party built upon the ideologies of the controllers of Washington, D.C., who have bought and paid for certain politicians in their offices, who are now ordering and giving orders to these politicians they bought to overthrow President Trump. And they're sticking rhinos and dinos in there. Excuse me. They're sticking rhinos and dinos in there and what I call linos. There's RINO, which is Republican in name only, DINO, which is Democrats in name only, and linos, LINO, which is Libertarians in name only. So we have that. We have that going on right now. We have that going on right now. The game plan of the globalist is to overthrow the United States of America. Now, how do you do that? What they're doing is exactly what the military-industrial complex run by the corporations does to every other country. They overthrow the leadership in whatever capacity. They infiltrate the inner workings of their politics, and then they bring down the leader. And if you look at that concept and you match it to what's happening right now in the United States, hello, it's a massive coup against the United States of America. And we, the people, are sitting back bitching with one another, completely divided on certain issues and subjects, because they've indoctrinated us with this, with these concepts of what they are. I mean, there's so many of them, I can't think of one particular one. But this is what's happening. And the American people are just sitting back going, what do we do? How do we do this? We'll do this and we'll do that. But nobody's getting off their ass to do anything. And I'm going to say this. I don't see hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets armed to protect their cities, their states, their counties, their neighborhoods. I don't see this. Well, it's not going to be on the mainstream propaganda media, that's for damn sure. Is it needed? Yes. On both issues. Hundreds of thousands of people need to get out in the streets and make sure that their neighborhoods are protected from these globalists and these, people that are out there. And the mainstream propaganda media needs to shut down or start telling the truth. That's just the way it is. Not because I said so. But when you look at the logical outcome of what is happening right now, you look at the logical outcome of what is happening right now in the way that it's happening, by the time President Donald Trump leaves office, and I said this about Barack Obama as well, and it didn't happen, although it was very close. If we, the people, don't do something now, we're not going to have a United States of America, or we're not going to have the U.S. as we know it, as we are familiar with it. And a lot of people are saying, well, you're calling for a coup. No, I'm not. I'm calling for the defense of the United States of America by we the people. That's what I'm calling for. Because these asshats in Washington, D.C., these people on the backside of Congress who are trying to manipulate things to get their way, to give a profit to their bosses in the globalist, groups that they belong to, these people are pushing for a coup of the United States of America. And they're all Democrats and they're all Republicans. They're part of what is called the Progressive Party. Go look it up. Here, let me do you a favor right now. I'm going to go to dictionary I may go someplace else just to verify this. Progressive Party. Here it is. A political party formed in 1912 under the leadership of Theodore Roosevelt, advocating popular control of government, direct primaries, the initiative, the referendum, women's suffrage. A similar party formed in 1924 under the leadership of Robert M. La Follette. Is that what it is? A political party formed in 1948 under the leadership of Henry A. Wallace. So it's been in different incarnations, folks. British dictionary definitions of a progressive party. Noun, a U.S. political party made up chiefly of dissident Republicans that nominated Theodore Roosevelt as its presidential candidate in 1912 and supported primaries, progressive labor legislation, and other reforms. A U.S. political party composed mostly of farmers, socialists, and unionists that nominated Robert La Follette for president in 1924 and supported public ownership of railways and of public utilities and other reforms. A U.S. political party composed chiefly of dissident Democrats that nominated Henry Wallace for president in 1948 and supported the nationalization of key industries, advocated social reforms, and opposed the Cold War. There you go, folks. The Progressive Party made up of both parties, members of both parties. There you go. I'm putting that definition on American Liberty Radio podcast page. There you go, folks. It's right there, spelled out in front of your face. Both parties, members of both parties, are members of the Progressive Party. Okay? That's it. I'm done. I'm done trying to explain to people what the hell is going on in these two parties, which are not two parties. They're just one. There's factions and other dissonant Republicans and Democrats on the outside of that party that don't adhere to certain elements of that Progressive Party. And so you get those in Rand Paul and Ted Cruz and, Paul Ryan and people like that, but yet they're still being tugged to go and join that Progressive Party. You see what I mean? You see? Are we on the same page here? I'm at the brink of just totally shutting everything. When I say shutting, what I mean is getting up in these progressive people's faces, the far left liberal loons and the Republican fascist and the Democratic socialist, and showing them the truth and shutting them down each and every time they open their big fat globalist mouth. I'm just getting to that. But I would rather open a discussion with them instead of shoving their head in a hole and burying them with the truth and the facts. I want them to see it on their own. I don't want to have to shove it down their throat. And if it comes to that, I will do that. But I would rather have an open and decent discussion with them than being so militant and having to shut them down in other ways. I defend the Constitution of the United States of America prior to 1871. I defend freedom of speech, the Bill of Rights, the concept of the rule of law of the Constitution. I do not defend corporate a-holes taking over Washington, D.C. By the way, corporation in politics equals fascism. Go look it up. This is one of the other reasons why I want to shove everything into the globalist mouth and shove all this down their throat and make them choke on their own words. This is one of the reasons why. Breitbart.com report FBI investigation smashed hard drives, or FBI investigating smashed hard drives retrieved from Wasserman Schultz Pakistani-born IT worker's home. This is from Adel Nazarian. Federal Bureau of Investigations is reportedly investigating several smashed hard drives seized from the home of two Pakistan-born brothers who worked as IT workers for former DNC Chairman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Quote, the suspects in this probe are people who worked for a long time for Democratic members in the House, unquote. Daily Caller investigative reporter Luke Rosiak reportedly told Fox Business Network, quote, brothers named Imran Awan, Abib Amran, and Jamil Awan, and they are criminal suspects, unquote. Rosiak said, quote, Imran worked for Debbie Wasserman Schultz for a long time, unquote. So, that right there tells me that everything that I need to know about this whole process of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Democratic Party, the fact that they are not going to throw her ass in jail where she needs to be because she's one of those insiders where she has a lot of information. So they don't want to throw her in jail because she will turn state's evidence. It happens, folks. It happens. So when we look at this whole thing, let's lay this whole thing out there, shall we? Let me get some water here, okay? Hang on just now. Had to get some water. When we lay this whole thing out on the table, we see several things that are missing. When we lay all these subjects out on the table, there's a few things missing, and that's the links between the politicians and their people, Debbie Wasserman Schultz and all those folks underneath her or in that same group of people. We're missing a lot because these people aren't telling the truth, aren't showing the facts, because they know damn well they're going to prison. So if they were to tell the truth, they're gone, their career's over. So they're there, and I'm talking about the politicians, and their pawns in this game are people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who can turn state's evidence and all that. So they're trying to do everything to save their own ass. Give you a prime example. The Clinton cabal. How many people are on the list of people that have died from trying to investigate the Clintons? Mysteriously died. Yeah. Seriously. That's what's going to happen to these people if they turn state's evidence. Okay, how many people, and the missing parts of this whole thing as we lay all this stuff out on the table is the fact that, well, the IT guy here got busted, so there's one piece of the puzzle that's coming, into play here. And there's so many others that what would happen, in my opinion, from my perspective, is if all the truth and everything was laid out in front of everybody and the facts were laid out in front of everybody, I would say that maybe half to over 3/4 of Congress would be either fired, arrested, thrown in prison, they'd commit suicide, they'd whatever, because they don't want to get busted. What needs to happen, and I've said this in previous podcasts, what needs to happen is we need a Nuremberg-like trial set up right now and bring all of them into that chamber and say, we need to know the truth and you're not leaving here until you tell us. And that's just the way it is. Because I'm going to tell you right now, with all the evidence that is stacked up against these corrupt politicians in Washington, D.C., which are both Republican and Democrat, part of the Progressive Party, when you look at all the evidence stacked against them, my God, do you know how many years each of them would get in prison? And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to waste my tax dollars paying for a politician in prison. These people just need to be, well, let's just say they need to lose their career. They should not even be able to get a job as a crossing guard in a school zone. They'll find some way to corrupt it and make a profit from it. And that's basically what it is. See, our founding fathers warned us about a centralized government, because literally common sense tells you when you look at it, a centralized government is just a group of people trying to make a profit. That's all it is. They're going to do everything they can to do that. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to, but nowadays in 2017, it's hundreds of millions of dollars possibly. A congressman makes $174,000 a year starting out. By the time they leave in their first term, maybe a term and a half, probably 8 years, they're making millions. Why? Insider trading. They have inside lines to certain profitable businesses, and most of them are overseas, and so they make millions of dollars. From what I have seen, from my perspective. Do you think Debbie Wasserman Schultz is ever going to see the inside of a jail cell? Probably not. Because she'll turn state's evidence. I have a really strong feeling about that. If they put pressure on her and stop her from leaving the country, which obviously some people do, then, yeah, she'll name names and tell them where the bodies are buried. Figuratively speaking, mind you. I want to get into more news. I want to get into more stuff. So I'm going to take an early break, folks. So hang out. I'll be, don't go away. What are you doing? Don't go away. I'm right here, man. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. I shall return right after this.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Growing up terrestrial radio, the future is here. Destroying the liberal media, one truth bomb at a time. Independent media is shattering the liberal national security media into a million pieces. Their views of the world are based on the script the government gives them. Independent media seeks out and finds the truth and reports on what is truly going on behind the scenes. Support the truth and facts. Support independent media. Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, I know. Took a break a little early there, So anyway, let's get into some news. Shall we? RT.com, CIA chief, China tops Russia and Iran as biggest long-term threat to U.S. I've told you that many years. For many, many years I've told you that. As long as I've had this show. China can just walk right into the U.S. and go, you owe us. So we're going to take this, and this. And guess what? There's nothing we can do about it. Yep. America first doesn't mean Europe last. That's a quote. EU lashes out at U.S. sanctions against Russia. This is all at RT.com. German business lobby urges EU action against new U.S. sanctions on Russia. Iran will, quote-unquote, strengthen defensive weapons in response to U.S. sanctions. Yeah, there you go. That's at RT.com, right there on the front. Man. Right there on the front. California independence, first step closer as AG paves way for potential 2018 referendum. Huh? What? What? Lucy Nicholson over at Reuters is reporting on this. Thank you, Lucy. A new California independence campaign has got the go-ahead to collect signatures for its 2018 Cal Exit Ballot Initiative. The state attorney general issued an official ballot measure title and summary on Tuesday. California Freedom Coalition can now start gathering more than 585,000 signatures needed to qualify for the 2018 ballot. This is the second official bid to make California an independent nation in the wake of Trump's election victory last November. Previous efforts by Yes California ended in April after reports of Cal Exit affiliations with Russia undermined the campaign. The movement, which received state authorization to begin collecting signatures last year, opened an embassy in Moscow in December. Its leader, Louis J. Marnell, specifically came under the spotlight for his connections to Russia. Separatist group California Freedom Coalition launched the same month with the support of Yes California's former Vice President Marcus Ruiz Evans. The initiative is adopting a more gradual approach and describes itself as a, quote, 100% California-based, unquote, grassroots organization independent of other Cal Exit groups. California Freedom Coalition board member Steve Gonzalez told LA Weekly in May that the proposal, if adopted, would offer lawmakers two other options aside from full secession. These would include reform of voting rights and districts and the option to keep California as a quasi-independent state within the union where decisions at the federal level would have little impact on the lives of Californians. The road to secession would first start with the formation of a commission to advise on avenues of pursuing independence. The measure would also instruct the governor and California congressional delegation to negotiate more autonomy for the state in any journey towards independence. There you go, folks. That's at RT.com. And is it ever going to happen? Texas has been fighting for secession politically fighting for secession for years now because, they don't I mean, every state has a right to secede from the rest of the union. Okay? Every state. And here's why. Because before the capital of the United States left Philadelphia and moved to the 10 square mile piece of land on the East Coast, each state was set up to support itself. And they could. Very well, actually. They didn't need a centralized government to do that. They didn't. But we got one, which our founding fathers told us not to have. But we got one anyway. Why is that? It's real simple, because people can't do things on their own. We did quite well up until, what was it, 1871, the Act of 1871 signed by President Ulysses S. Grant. And we did quite well under a lot of other things until President Woodrow Wilson signed the Internal Revenue Act and the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. So, you tell me how much better this country would be without a centralized government. Yeah. RT is reporting Minority Report AI to collar suspects before they do the crime. This is what RT is reporting. In a storyline lifted straight out of the Tom Cruise film Minority Report, China is planning to use artificial intelligence to predict future crimes and prevent them from happening. Police are teaming up with technology companies to develop artificial intelligence, which they say will help them identify and apprehend suspects before crimes are committed, according to the Financial Times. Quote, if we use our smart systems and smart facilities well, we can know beforehand who might be a terrorist, who might do something bad, unquote. Li Ming, China's Vice Minister of Science and Technology, said, I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio podcast. I knew this technology was coming many, many years ago, back in the 90s. As a matter of fact, there was a huge... I saw something back in the early 2000s about the movie Minority Report. And it was basically a marketing tactic by the movie company, by the production company and the studios, to get you to come see the movie by this fake recruitment of pre-crime police. Okay. And I'm trying to remember when the movie came out. 2002, as a matter of fact, the movie came out. We've had this technology far longer than that, folks. We've had this they call it technology, but now they're using, AI and all that. But we've had that technology for years. We just never used it in the capacity in which they're using it now. Okay. So, here's some craziness for you in America. Stephen Mineo, check this out. I'm not even going to put this on there. I just want to read. This is insane, folks. Woman kills, quote-unquote, cult-fearing boyfriend after online conspiracist calls her, quote, reptilian super soldier, unquote. This is from the 26th of July. I'm just not, This is what RT is reporting. And I just, okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to click off of that. I'm also going to say this. And I know people are going to get all pissed off by this. And frankly, I don't care, because you need to start looking at the truth. You need to start looking for the facts. And if you don't want to do that, then it's not my problem. It's yours. And so you can just sit in your easy chair and use the remote to flip on ESPN and just watch all the sports you want. Just go ahead, grab your beer, sit down, kick your shoes off. There you go. You don't want the truth. You don't want the facts. You don't want anything. You don't want to know anything that's going on the outside of your house, even though it indirectly or directly affects your life in the long run. But you don't really care. So go have a nice day. But I want to say this. Anybody, I don't give one rip who it is, anybody that says that Alex Jones is a cult leader, Alex Jones is a shill, Alex Jones is a Vatican assassin, all this bull crap that you want to say, I want to say two words to you. And I don't care who the hell you are, because you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. So I'm going to give you two things. I'm going to say two words to you right now in regards to all of that you say about Alex Jones, about anything. I don't care what it is. I'm going to say two things to you right now. Prove it. You can't, because you don't have the information. You don't care about the facts or the truth. You don't give one rip about anything other than what you're going to do. You don't care. Now, that's a huge indictment against your character, isn't it? Well, stop saying bullshit and start proving it. You ain't got the balls to do it. You ain't got the backbone to do it. So don't even do it. Just sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, kick your shoes off, and watch your damn ESPN all day. I don't really care. I know the truth, and I know the facts. And also, let me say this. I may have overlooked a few things. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong. So there you go. Somebody once told me years ago, many years ago now, almost a couple of decades. Somebody looked at me once when I was talking about the Clinton administration and how they're involved with, drug dealing from the cartels, and how their airfield in Mena, Arkansas was being used to bring the drugs into the United States. They looked at me, and I was very passionate about what it was and my information that I had at the time. And they said two things to me now that I'm remembering it. They said, "You're a conspiracy theorist." And I looked at them and I said the same thing to them that I said to, some of you folks out there. Prove it. Prove that I'm wrong. Here's the information I have in my hand proving that I'm right. Want to try to prove me wrong? And they just humphed and walked away. And somebody else in that same group told me, "You got a chip on your shoulder." I said, "No, I don't. I knocked that sumbitch off a long time ago." I know the truth. I know the facts. There they are, staring you in the face. I may have overlooked something in this, so I'll keep looking if I'm questioning certain things and have new information to present. Yes. And that's what I told them. And my friends are all looking at me like, "Jeez." I've lost a lot of friends over the years because of the truth and the facts that I share with people. And frankly, I sleep well at night. And you cannot continue to deny what is going on, is what I'm saying. You cannot deny continually what is going on. You have to see the stuff out there. You have to lay it out on a table. You have to look at it. And if there's questions that arise, you have to examine those things. I've been doing this since Carter was president, folks. I've been looking into this since President Ronald Reagan first started talking about bringing down the wall and his, strategic defense initiative and all this. I've been looking at this stuff for a very long time, folks. Do I have the truth and the facts? I got enough information. Well, let's just say it's in a safe place. I got enough information to literally write volumes of books about what I know. but I don't, because there's other people out there that are relieving, or I should say, revealing, and they're reliving certain things. And when I say that, I use that in the context of they re-examine some of the material they have, as I do, and they remember those things, and they put those things together, and they put two and two together, and they go, oh, I've overlooked something. Here's more information. So they reveal the information to the general public. There's other people out there that do that. Michael Savage, Alex Jones, many, many different people out there. Hagman and Hagman, you name it. They're out there. You got people out there like Free Talk Live and those people over there who say, yeah, we'll open this up for a discussion, but, and that but has a lot after that. And it just generally, the gist of it is, you're wrong, they're right, and that's all there is to it. And it's like, I've heard some of their shows on freetalklive.com, and let me tell you something. Good guys, good information, great discussions, but, yeah, they have this attitude. They're, I haven't heard them in a long time. And then you got people who just won't discuss stuff so deeply as I do, and they'll just give you the overview of it and move on to something else. I know hosts like that as well. And I know hosts that, on other networks, and I'm not going to mention the network, but I know hosts that have known full well everything that I'm talking about is true and factual, but they turn around, they put themselves in a corner, they talk about God, they say, they don't talk in depth about what they used to know or they used to talk about, and then they just, hold back. They don't want to get into that. Which to me is, well, if your responsibility is to, or if you believe that your responsibility and your duty is to, live the way that God tells you to live, and I don't have anything against people like that, but if that's your responsibility and duty that you believe you have, then your responsibility and duty is to reveal all the truth and all the facts to everyone around you so that they can assess and make up their own minds to do what they need to do to protect themselves. And if you're sitting in a corner doing nothing, yeah. All I'm going to say is, I hope you got a flashlight, because sooner or later that room you're in is going to go dark. I'm serious. So, I'm not going to mention any names. I revealed, names before, and they kind of, I don't care if they get pissed off, but I'm not out to, slam anybody, okay? I'm just telling you, if you're out there and you understand what's going on, it's your responsibility and duty to let other people know so that they can assess and draw their own conclusions to find ways to, take care of themselves. Much like parents to children. I was a stepfather for a while, so I know about that. So, anywho, enough of my rant. Let's get on. Let's get on to the news, shall we? Steve Watson, Infowars.com, 26th of July, 2017. There's a video up there. It says, and huge, quote-unquote, CNN sucks chant at Trump rally. The President of the United States to elected heckler, quote, he's going back home to mommy, unquote. Yeah, President Trump received a huge ovation in Youngstown, Ohio on Tuesday night, with the crowd at one point erupting into CNN sucks chant as Trump spoke of fake news. I'm going to put that up on an American Liberty Radio podcast. Trump knows how to put people in their place, and that's what we need a president to do. get up in their face and say, not in my front yard. It ain't happening. It's just not happening. That's just the way it is, folks. Here's another one. Andrew Sirios, Mises.org, Mises.org, 26th of July, 2017. Seattle's minimum wage supporters ignore the facts. Yes, minimum wages still do increase unemployment. In what has become a running joke amongst those skeptical of the claim that minimum wage increases have no effect on unemployment, a recent report by the Employment Policies Institute showed that 174 of 184 co-sponsors of a bill to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour hired unpaid interns. Yeah, folks. Yeah. How about that? How about that, folks? The author here, Andrew Sirios, said, my personal favorite example of this type of this is when the Freedom Socialist Party, which was pushing for an even more ridiculous $20 an hour minimum wage, posted ads for new employees offering $13 an hour. The party's national secretary doused himself in irony to defend his organization by saying, quote, we're practicing what we're preaching in terms of continuing to fight the minimum wage, but we can't pay a lot more than $13 an hour, unquote. He just shot himself in the foot. I'm just going to leave that there, folks. I'm just going to leave that there. Oh, that is just so funny. That is so funny. Oh, the irony. Oh, yeah, let's push for a $20 minimum wage and let's pay our people $13. Yeah. Okay. Can you say stupid? It's just, oh my God. I'll leave that there in American Liberty Radio Podcast. It's right there. There it is. It's up there. Oh, goodness. I don't know. Oh, a couple of things here before let me check my time. Yeah, I got a little bit of time left. Daily Caller is reporting on the 26th of July, 2017. 1 year later, journalists exposed by WikiLeaks carry on as before. Quote, tell me if I'm effed up anything, unquote. Daily Caller is reporting this. 1 year after WikiLeaks began publishing emails from the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign chair, John Podesta, that exposed prominent journalists as partisans, many of these journalists are continuing their careers without, it seems, any serious consequences. This is going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. Little side note here, folks. Before you drink coffee, eat something. Just saying. Just putting it out there. Because, man, my stomach's just flipping all over the place. Now, we're all divided and worried about all kinds of crap, going on. And I don't mean to leave the show on a downer, but Michael Snyder over at Economic Collapse blog, I think that's what it is. Let me go take a look. EconomicCollapseblog.com. Michael Snyder is saying on the 26th of July, 2017, scientists warn that the countdown to the extinction of the human race is accelerating. Sperm counts among men from these areas seem to have halved in less than 40 years. Humanity is steamrolling toward a date with extinction, and yet most people have absolutely no idea that this is happening. Most of us like to think that we are part of the smartest, tallest, fastest generation in human history, but science has actually shown that the exact opposite is true. Compared to our ancient ancestors, we are shorter, slower, and we have been losing mental capacity for thousands of years. And just this week, a groundbreaking study that discovered that large numbers of human males in the Western world may soon be incapable of reproducing made headlines all over the planet. So I'm going to put that up on American Liberty Radio podcast. Comes down to this, folks. Get rid of control systems. And when I say that, I'm not saying get rid of the, regulations or anything like that. I mean, we're overregulated as it is, so, I mean, that's hurting us big time. Get rid of the controllers and the control system that has its death grip on us. I mean, the numbers are there, folks. Go look them up. Go look up go look this up. I'm serious. 40-year studies of the decline in sperm count in men. Go look at the 40-year studies of intelligence of people from 40 years ago to 2017. That's a long way. 1977 to 2017. Go look at it. Or is that 40 years? Is that 40 years? 2000, 19, is it 19? What is it, 40? Yeah. Damn. Wow. That is 40 years, isn't it? I say that because in 3 years, my 40-year class reunion is coming up. Holy crap. That is 40 years, folks. Go look at the studies that have been done in the last 40 years. Look at the intelligence level. Look at the intellectual level. Look at the, medical advances we've made in 40 years. But look at the medical, things that have happened as far as, sperm count in men or estrogen or, testosterone and, all of that. Go look at all of that stuff and look at the decline of basic humanity in the last 40 years. Serious. And then I haven't read the book yet, so I don't have a complete knowledge of the book, but it's by Charlotte Iserby, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. Her father was, let's just say, part of the Illuminati. She was second in command in the Department of Education under Ronald Reagan. So, yeah, she knows. She knows. Go look up Charlotte Iserby, or Iserbit, I think is what it is. The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. There's many different ways that the United States government itself, Washington, D.C. specifically, and their bosses of the globalist control organizations that are out there are trying to tear down America, and they're doing it in every way possible that they can think of, through chemtrails, fluoride in the water, through other legislative means, making laws that we have to follow, but they're immune to, this kind of thing. So you know exactly what they're doing, folks. But here's the thing. And I'm going to say this, and hopefully on a positive note. You people know how to do things. You people know how to get things done. And we, the people of the United States of America, need to get up off our ass and go do it. But I got a job and I got a family to take care of and you've got a United States of America to defend from these globalist asshats that think they're going to tear it apart. So where's your obligation and where's your loyalty? Protect your family by protecting America. That is your first obligation. But anyway, I'm going to go now. I'm going to get out of here. But I'll be back. Don't fret, don't cry. I'll be back. This is American Liberty Radio Network. I'll be back tomorrow. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.